Hey everyone, Robert here, author of Expansion Mastery, the practical guide to living a fully engaged life. Are you ready to start living your life to the fullest? Are you ready and willing to transform yourself and your life from ordinary to extraordinary? Well, what are you waiting for? This is the end of 2020, and we're getting ready for the beginning of 2021. Now is the time. Welcome, my friends, to the Fully Engaged Life. Welcome back to the show, everyone. This episode will be airing just a few days before Christmas, so I would like to extend a very Merry Christmas to everyone who celebrates Christmas around the world. I hope your Christmas is filled with warmth, love, and joy. Let's get to it. Today's episode is the third installment in this What the Heck is Meant By series, new series that I'm doing in order to hopefully offer a sense of clarity and practicality for spiritual terms and, more importantly, their practices. Today's episode is What the Heck is Meant by Meditation Anyway? In the name of format consistency, I will begin with examining what meditation is not, as a way for you to better understand then what it actually is. Meditation is not coloring in a so-called adult meditation coloring book. You may find coloring in a coloring book quite soothing. What you are enjoying is the mental distraction that it provides, because coloring in a coloring book is in no way associated with anything to do with meditation. It's important to remember that this is a children's activity. Meditation is not relaxation. While relaxing, especially if we find ourselves normally wound pretty tight, this can offer a sense of relief, and that relief feels fantastic, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we have to distinguish between relaxation and meditation. As you will find out later in the program, relaxation is a factor in meditation, but it is not meditation itself. It is just an aspect of the mind and body that is there that allows us to ease into meditation. So don't be fooled by this feeling of relief when you relax as being meditation. They are absolutely not the same thing. Meditation is not repeating an affirmation for a few minutes every day. There's been a trend over the past 8 years or so of the 5-minute meditation or the 3-minute meditation or even the 1-minute meditation. I think I saw it down to 30-second meditation, which is ridiculous. And what these programs try to offer is you repeating some sort of daily affirmation or mantra for a couple of minutes a day, and they refer to this as a type of meditation. This is not a type of meditation. It is simply repeating affirmation. Anything that involves thinking is not meditation. So while repeating affirmations, mantras, and sutras are all wonderful practices, we just have to distinguish between these types of activities and meditation, because reciting them is not a meditation. Let's look at one that's very typical in the Buddhist community of Namu Amida Butsu, right? This is a mantra that they can repeat many, many, many times, okay? And that is a wonderful practice. It is not meditation, however. It is classified as a meditative practice. We just have to understand the difference because you are thinking and you are speaking. And these are two things that are not part of actual meditation in its pure state. And that leads us to the next one. Meditation is not any sort of practice. Meditative practices are different from meditation itself. Even though today all of this has been grouped together and labeled as meditation, meditation has become kind of a catch-all phrase or a buzzword, but these things are not considered as actual meditation. And what happens is this then causes confusion, and it actually dilutes the true meaning of what meditation is. And this is not to belittle meditative practices. They are every bit as important. They're just not the same thing. Meditation is not trying to do or not do anything. Trying to do anything, even trying not to do something, is still trying to do something. And that interferes with meditation. So now let's take a closer examination of what meditation actually is. Meditation is simply sitting and allowing the mind to settle into silence and stillness. You simply allow thoughts to come and go, emotions to rise and fall, until they no longer do so. Meditation itself is actually a state of being. It is when we are simply being. And this is the being, B-E-I-N-G, that I refer to in my book regarding heaven, earth, and being. One could consider it the ultimate state of a human being because it's in the state that we get to connect to our true self, our conscious awareness. So let me describe it to you, and I've used this description before, but I'm going to get a little bit more detailed. The mind is like a glass of water with dirt in the bottom of it. The ordinary mind is filled with thoughts, emotions, and so on. And this is the same as taking a glass of water and shaking it so that the dirt turns to mud and it gets all riled up and swirls around in the glass, just like your thoughts do in your mind. But when we take that same glass of water with the mud in it and we set that down and just leave it alone, over time, eventually, the mud will settle back down to the bottom of the glass, and the water will rise above the mud and become clear. Not just clear, but still. There's no more swirling around. There's just stillness, not a single ripple on the top of the water. We realize that the mud symbolizes our thoughts and emotions and all the other mental activity of the mind. And the clear water symbolizes the mind in its original state. To truly grasp this, I know it's easy for all of you to understand, but to truly grasp the nature of this, it's really cool to do. I recommend getting a glass and putting some dirt in it and then filling it with water. Put your hand over it, shake it up a little bit, get it all nice and swirled up, see all the movement, and then just set it on the counter and let it set. And notice how it sets towards the bottom and gradually becomes clear water at the top and then just the dirt or mud now at the bottom. It's not an immediate process. It takes time, and it can't be bothered, right? Even if you hit the countertop, it'll send ripples through the water, and it will bring a little bit of those particles back up into the water. It has to be left alone so it can settle. And when you watch this, you actually see it take place. It really provides you with a graphic example of what is happening with the mind in meditation. This is what meditation is. It isn't trying to force this to happen. You just have to leave it alone and allow it to settle and become still. In meditation, the idea is to shift our external awareness to our internal awareness by tuning out any external distractions. This can be very challenging for most people, and this is why I teach the breath bridge, because it's one of the most effective meditative practices for shifting from the external to the internal. Once this takes place, we then let go of the meditative practice and do nothing. It is this state of doing nothing, no longer trying to do something, which we enter into real meditation. And the breath bridge can help us attain that. So just remember that in case you have problems getting into that internal mental space. So it is then that we allow our thoughts and emotions to settle and enter into a state of silence and stillness. Now, it's important to note that with meditation, for many people, the silence is frightening. They can't take it because the mind is so addicted to the entertainment it creates for itself through thoughts and emotions that they find this very unnerving. This is most unfortunate because it is for these people that meditation is needed the most. For many others, it might be the stillness that seems like a form of torture because their mind craves the distraction of always doing something, being busy or whatever it is. But it is the silence and stillness that we must embrace and dwell within. It's at the point that we attain silence and stillness of the mind that we open the door and enter into real meditation. This is when we enter the state of no mind. All mental activity becomes suspended. It is here that we eventually transcend the mind itself. This is meditation. Think about it. The mind is primarily constructed of thought formations. When there is the absence of thought, there is the absence of mind. There is no mind. When there is no mind, we are in meditation. So what are some of the things required for meditation? As we discussed in the previous episode regarding mindfulness, mindfulness only requires the fact that we have a healthy body and a healthy mind. We need the mind and the breath. So what is required for meditation? Do we need a lot of trappings, anything that's expensive or anything we need to invest in? What about all these fancy cushions? The answer is simply no. Cushion is nice, but you can use any pillow or any seat cushion at all. So the idea is to sit on something to where you are not overly distracted by discomfort from sitting on the hard floor, yet you're not so comfortable that the mind drifts off into thought or sleep. And here we have, once again, the body as being an important factor in our ability to meditate. So what is required of our body? Is it the breath as before? Well, certainly the breath is very important, as is having the body be relaxed. But one of the most important factors of the body is good posture. We need not only good posture, but the correct posture. And specific posture is one of those things that has been really lost in succeeding in meditation. It isn't enough to just sit with your back straight. There are micro adjustments that should be made in order to put your body in the proper posture for meditation. So, to summarize for the body, we have proper posture, breathing, and relaxation. And it is a tremendous help if the body is free of any chemical substances that could interfere with the meditation process. And of course, we need a healthy mind. We need a relaxed mind and a mind that is free of chemical interference. Through observations, for I have no direct experience with this, it is my opinion that entering into meditation itself while under some sort of chemical influence, prescription or otherwise, is a very, very dangerous thing to do, and it can have quite serious consequences. But once again, we can see that we need nothing more than the body and mind in order to enter into meditation. If we have a cushion, fine, that's nice. It's not necessary. If we have a nice, quiet, secluded area in which to meditate in, this too is extremely helpful, but it is not necessary. It is important to discuss the environment in which we will be sitting in order to meditate. It's extremely helpful if where you are sitting is somewhere you feel safe and secure, so that you're comfortable letting go of the external awareness to go inward. So this is very helpful. It's also helpful if it's quiet, or at least where you won't be disturbed, especially in the beginning. In the beginning, if it's noisy, this can be a distraction. It can be an annoyance. It can be something that prevents you from being able to actually meditate. Later on, it shouldn't matter. Those things should not be able to disturb you. But in the beginning, yeah, they definitely will. This is very natural. So it's best to make it easy on yourself in the beginning and try to have it to be quiet. And then over time, allow for noises, and they should not disturb you. Disruptions are another thing. If you have children or pets or somebody that might come home or enter into that space and disrupt you, this can be very unhelpful and in some cases a bit unhealthy because of the shock, the jarring effect that it has on your mind and nervous system. This is also why it's best to make sure that your phone is off and away from you while you are meditating. An interruption by the phone can be extremely jarring. A couple extra things that I might suggest would be to make sure that you are not eating or drinking anything 30 to 45 minutes prior to meditation. That way the body isn't busy processing things, and it allows you to become more still within the body. It's also preferable to have a good quality air filter in the room in which you are meditating, unless you're meditating outdoors. If you can meditate outdoors, then you should make sure that you are not in a heavily polluted area. I highly recommend running a silent, high-quality air filter in whatever space you are meditating, or performing any sort of breathing practice at all for that matter. For additional guidance on meditation, you can access one of my earlier podcasts where I discuss the 7 basic levels or stages you go through in meditation. And this is just a rough way to systematically address these things. It isn't that there's strictly 7 stages that you're going to go through, or 9 stages or 12 stages or whatever. Everybody's different. But that's an overview of the basic stages that one ends up experiencing as they begin this path of meditation. It's also important to note that these stages are not something you're trying to acquire, like leveling up in a video game or something. They're just signposts to give you an indication of where you might be on the path of meditation. But they are not goals to be completed. If you have that goal in mind, it will definitely interfere and in some cases inhibit you from being successful with meditation. In addition to this, I would like to say that it's normal for you to struggle a little bit in the beginning. You may have trouble focusing your mind. You may have trouble being physically comfortable. You may have trouble shifting from external awareness to internal awareness. You may be easily distracted by your own thoughts and emotions. You may become irritated by external noises and interruptions. All of these things, all of that is normal. The key is not giving up. You have to persevere. As long as you just continue to sit and try to sit and allow things to settle and become silent, you will eventually succeed. So please try not to become discouraged or frustrated. Just keep working through it. Allow it to be what it is. Try not to judge the practice. Just allow it to happen. Meditation does require patience and perseverance. Patience is extremely important here because it can take several minutes, 20, 30, 40, even 50 minutes or longer, in order for you to actually start to get into the meditative process and meditative state. This is especially true for the beginner. The good news is that later, once you become a little more accomplished, you'll find that you can drop into this meditative state quicker and quicker, eventually being able to drop into it almost immediately within just a couple of breaths. But just realize that that generally takes many, many years of diligent meditation to accomplish. Consistency and duration are also important attributes of meditation. The idea is to do it consistently, daily or even every morning and evening. And the duration that is stressed by most masters and priests alike is a minimum of 40 minutes each time that you sit. This is necessary to allow the mind a chance to settle and become still, and for the nervous system to settle down as well. And just to clarify the aspect of relaxation, we covered in the very beginning that meditation is not relaxation, yet relaxation is a part of what we need to include in our meditation. And we know that comes in the way of physical and mental relaxation. So, if we understand it in another way, relaxation provides us with a sense of physical relief. It feels good to let go of all of the tension in the body. Likewise, silence and stillness offer us mental relief. It feels incredible to still all of that mental, emotional activity and just allow the silence and stillness to be. This form of mental relief is absolutely incredible, and in turn will allow us to relax the body in ways we can't even imagine. Now, if you are truly engaged in meditation, you will not feel the relief until after you have finished the sitting practice. Once you are done with meditation, when you slowly open your eyes, you remember the process that I've taught, you slowly open your eyes, then you will generally feel this sense of mental relaxation wash over you. In meditation, there's a lot going on. At the same time, there's nothing going on. And this is the idea. It is both a complex thing and the most simple thing at the same time. I have presented it here by way of explanation in a very simplistic and practical manner, making sure there was no mysticism or dogma, because that is unnecessary with meditation. So I hope this helps provide some clarity for you. Please make sure to stop by at www.expansionmastery.com. Grab your autographed copy of Expansion Mastery or my ebook that is newly revised and expanded, as well as some of the other goodies there. I really appreciate all of you who have recently placed your orders. I hope you are enjoying the materials and that they are serving you greatly. And all orders should have arrived in time for the holiday. Please help us by sharing these podcasts, as well as sharing and liking and subscribing and doing all of that social media stuff. That helps us out a lot as well. And Merry Christmas to every one of you. I hope you have a fantastic holiday. I hope it is overflowing with love and joy and warmth. And as always, I wish you the very best in your practices, your Christmas holiday, and your life. Take care.